On this episode, we begin on this early morning in East Tennessee. An abandoned home that looks to be from the 1800s. Beside the busy highway, this old home sits vacant, abandoned, and falling in. And the back porch is gone. That's all caved in. That's so dangerous. Looks like most of the front part is intact. And as we're getting closer to the front porch, take note of the sky, the sun rising in the east. Gotta be very careful. Looks like that porch is just hanging by a thread there. All right, we're in. Wow. Look at this staircase. All right, we're gonna be very careful. Here in the dawn's early light. Blue room, sofa. Check out the fireplace. Wow. All right, we're gonna check out the stairs. The other fireplace over here. All right, be careful. Yeah, they're still kind of firm. Look at this. Got the back. Hello? I'm gonna be careful, I'm not gonna step up too far. Check that out. All caved in back there. Wow. And then over here, watch my step. The other room and fireplace. What a relic. I can see my breath in here. Back down the stairs. Welcome to East Tennessee, folks. And now we find ourselves in Greene County, Tennessee, not too far from Greenville. Right here on the corner of Babbs Mill Road and Old Baileyton Road. An old general store, right on the corner across from the Mount Pleasant Church. What's cool about this, so you can see it right here. There's an old Pepsi sign. That's a relic. That's so cool. Get a little closer for you. There's a sign in the door that says closed. I wonder what this used to be. Obviously it's an old store, but I wonder what it was called, who owned it. Right across from the church. And then down the hill, through the tree line, there's a historic Victorian home just sitting down there. Looks like someone's still living there though. Check this out, coming through the crossroads, an old tractor. Not so old. Not as old as that general store and that Pepsi sign. And look at this old schoolhouse. Hear dogs barking in the distance, birds chirping. Let's see how close we can get. Actually, I found the pathway. There's stones. Steps right here. Almost tripped over them. Look at these. These are pretty. This window's busted open. Kitchen right here to the left. Card table set up. Hello? Yeah, look at this. There's a picture of George Washington in here. All right, it looks like it does have a basement. That's spooky. Ladies' room. And here's the main hall. Wow. Looks like the stage was set for some sort of a play. Hello? Chalkboard. Looks like some sort of a track painted on the wood floor here. All right. Everyone's asking to see the basement. All right, I'm gonna be careful. These steps are probably, yeah, these steps are pretty crazy. All right. Yeah, just not very big down here. It doesn't go too far. Some old china and dishes over here. Wow. Hydrogen peroxide, some old books. Tennessee Blue Book. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time. I am Tampa J, and today we continue my abandoned series right here in East Tennessee. We've already seen a few things, and we've got a long day ahead of us. I'm going to check out an old Civil War hospital, a building that was used as a hospital in the war between the states. It's still standing, and it has quite a bit of history I want to check out today. Also, there's a 1700s Revolutionary War era fort that is still standing in East Tennessee, and that's going to be part of the fun today. Also, just going to see what we capture along the way and after. That's part of the fun. That's some of the most fun about these videos, is just seeing what we see along the way. All right, let's do it. There's much ahead. Here's an old abandoned farm right here. Look at this. Got the house and the barn in frame. The barn all caved in back there. Just barely see it from the road. Old shack. And first off, we're heading south down Horton Highway. There's another general store I want to take a look at. And now welcome to Guthri's Gap, another old general store sitting by this railroad tracks. Right up over top the railroad tracks, up there is Tennessee Highway 66. Seems to be an old barn structure right here. Also, there's a cattle crossing sign. We're amongst farming country. Windows are all busted out. I'm gonna take a look at the front, see how close we can get. Guthri's Gap, like Woody Guthrie, spelled the same way. Yeah, look at this. You can barely see the awning on the front porch. Windows all busted out. I'm stepping out on the train tracks so you can see what's going on here. Look at this. Could be a train coming soon. Wow, this is old. It looks like we can walk all the way around the building here. It's a nice little pathway. The grass is mowed down. Take a peek inside here. Hello. Definitely hear a train coming. Oh, there's a clock on the wall. Way off. 5 after 6? No. All right, I got on this side of the railroad tracks just in case there was a train coming. I sat here for a few minutes. I don't think it's coming this way. Much ahead. Let's get going. And now we come to a quiet town called Bull's Gap. There's several buildings here along Main Street. Railroad tracks also goes down Main Street. There's a train heading out of town down that direction. Bull's Gap Railroad Museum. And then down here to the left, that's where I'm walking to first, is a historic railroad hotel. And it's sitting abandoned. Check out the church up on the hill there too, next to that silo. Yeah, it's a very small town. Doing a 360 for you right here. Establishing, hear the birds, establishing the shots. That railroad museum is open. Perhaps we'll pop our head into there. All right, check it out. Across the railroad tracks, I mean just feet away, is Gilley's Hotel. Still says it right there in the glass. So this was a crucial landmark for railroad travelers in the late 1800s and early 1900s, evolving from the Smith House, later becoming a community hub with dining, a barbershop, and even a silent movie theater, before falling into disuse and eventually being donated to the local railroad museum, which is next door, which aims to preserve it despite funding challenges. So it looks like they own it and they're trying to restore it. This is a giant brick building. Check it out. That way south. There's also a building over here. Looks like someone's living in. There's that silo. Yeah, it looks like this building is on the verge of being condemned. Also, I heard it was haunted. Right? It was a social heart where locals and travelers shared stories, music, and meals. Was a notable presence from railroad men who often settled in the area. The shift away from steam engines in the 1950s and 60s reduced traffic through Bull's Gap. The building served as apartments until 2003. Wow, that's not terribly long ago, before being donated to the Bull's Gap Museum. And on this sign here, it says, Crossroads of Southern Railway, Bull's Gap. Welcome to the crossroads of the Southern Railway. That's cool. Before I head to the Railroad Museum, I wanted to check out these buildings and something up the hill here first. It's an old general store with a cool Coke sign on the porch. York Cullen and Son. General Merchandise, Bulls Gap, Coca-Cola. That looks like an original sign that's been painted. York Cullen with a Q. Looks like now it's the Bulls Gap Community Center. It's decorated for Christmas too. And up here we have the Bulls Gap City Hall. Also Archie Campbell Museum. Alright, so that is City Hall. It is open. It is a weekday. And right here we have a park slash sign. One of the Tennessee Music Pathway signs. It looks like Bulls Gap was the home of Archie Campbell. I'm gonna look at that. There's also a caboose sitting over here, and across the way it appears to be a bed and breakfast called Magnolia Manor. Did you hear that? That's the railway. It's just over the hill. That was a train. This is actually the Archie Campbell home place. This was his home. It looks like the door might be open too. Let's read this sign. Comedian, singer, painter, golfer, television host, scriptwriter, businessman, raconteur Archie Campbell is principally remembered for his roles on the long-running television series Hee Haw. And there he is, Pappy. When Hee Haw started in 1969, Campbell was hired as an on-air comedian and one of two original writers, the other being Gordy Tapp. He was a regular until 1987. His reoccurring characterizations included The Barber, where he began That's Good, That's Bad. He hoboed through Alabama as what he called a strolling musician, worked in medicine shows, broke. He arrived in Knoxville in 1936 and earned a spot on WNOX's popular midday merry-go-round. Roy Acuff was among the show's top stars. Program director Lowell Blanchard encouraging Campbell, then a singer, to introduce comedy into his act, prompting Campbell to create the character of Grandpappy. It also says in 1952, Archie Campbell hosted Knoxville's very first country music television show, Country Playhouse. Oh, check this out. Doors open. Hello? Wow. Okay. Wasn't expecting this. There's a guest book right there on the table. Wood burning stove. Hear the train. This was Archie's house. All the furniture in here. Some pictures on the wall. Top, Campbell, and Long children. And here they are on the porch of this house. Right there on the steps I just walked up. Campbell's. Looks like Archie is 8 years old. That'd be him right there. These are his brothers and sisters. Looks like Irina, Harold, Pauline, and Archie. Oh look, we got a record player. No record playing. This looks like it was the parents' room. Parents' bedroom. Old sewing machine here. This is pretty neat. You can just walk up in here. They got some clothes even. Bulls Gap Branch, Citizen Union, Bank of Rogersville. Season's Greetings. That's cool. It's an old calendar. What year is that? 1916. Just sitting in here. Hanging in here. Old rocking chair. And look, out the window you can see the train in the gap. I believe that is Bulls Gap right there. Yeah, it's down below us. Also, there's an old farm up there. Was not expecting to get in the building. It is a public park, so it looks like they just unlock it so you can come and check it out. Oh, look how the closet's being locked. Old fork. That's awesome. Let's take a look. Oh, it's the back porch. Thought it was a closet. And there's the outhouse. 12/17/25. Last person here was November 19th. Been almost a month. And got the old train car out here. Yeah, this is a really nice stop. Nice place to have a picnic too. It is a public park. Come check out Archie Campbell's house. Tell him Tampa J sent you. And if you're looking for a quiet getaway, Magnolia Manor. It says established 1904. I think I've seen one, maybe two cars go by. Been here well over 25 minutes. And here we are. Open. Looks like Monday through Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday 1 to 5. Meeting 7 p.m. second Tuesday every month. Check it out. Right in the middle of the museum, they have a giant model train set going in here. I just signed into the book over there. A lot of stuff to look at. It's a donation. I have a little bit of cash on me, so I can make a donation. And right here I showed the last time I made a video like this in Tennessee, I showed the limestone train station. It's still sitting there. Currently abandoned. There it is. In 1971. An old railway equipment here, lights, helmets, all kinds of stuff. Even an old typewriter there. A little model of the Gillies house right here. So the train's coming by. That's cool. So it looks like it used to have a front porch and a balcony on the second floor. Here's a little history of Bull's Gap. In 1792, John Bull, a gunsmith, received a North Carolina land grant for 55 acres of land and Bays Mountain near the important east-west passageway over the mountain. Bull operated a stage line through his passageway, which became known as Bull's Gap. The first post office in the area was Bays Mount, which was located approximately a mile and a half from the current town of Bull's Gap. In 1857, when the East Tennessee and Virginia Railroad began construction of a line from Bristol to Knoxville, the area was known as Branchville. Upon completion of the Rogersville line by the Rogersville and Jefferson Railroad in 1870, the town was renamed Rogersville Junction by the railroad. Around the same time period, the Bays Mount Post Office was moved into the community and was renamed Bull's Gap at the request of the residents. In 1904, the railroad changed the name of Rogersville Junction to Bull's Gap to end the confusion of two names for one community. The name of Bull's Gap appears to have been the town name commonly used by the residents for a long period before it was officially adopted by the post office and the railroads. And this is a crazy story I just caught on here about hanging a man-killing elephant from the circus. And there's a picture of it right here. Murderous Mary. I believe that is real. Execution of Murderous Mary. Man-killing elephant, September 13th, 1916. And it says gravesite of elephant lost. It says after the hanging, they buried it next to the railroad tracks, and no one remembers where it was buried, and that this was the only photo ever taken of that day. And I believe this was somewhere around this area. The Day They Hung the Elephant by Charles Edwin in a 1992 book. So you can look that story up. That's pretty terrifying. And here's a photograph of the Gillies Hotel before they built the addition. All these folks are posed. Some people standing up on the second there. Wow, that's a long time ago. All right, that was fun. There was quite a bit of history to see in there. There was so much to fit in one vlog. Stop by, check it out. Tell them Tampa J sent you. Got like a speaker going. So that was a watchtower at some point. All right, so I'm gonna walk up the hill here. That bridge is right over what they call Bull's Gap. So this bridge that I drove over is right over the gap. Looks like they carved out quite a bit of rocks just so they could get the railroad to go through here. Whoa. It's pretty neat. Here you go, other side. Over there's the Magnolia house. Train just went through here. Hence the name Bull's Gap. It's quite a big gap. Must have been a lot of work. Check out the rock. Hey, you don't want to fall down there. You're not gonna make it. Check out this old tractor here. Just sitting by the road. That thing hasn't moved in a long time. Also, there's a doggy over there. All right, now east of Bulls Gap on Andrew Johnson Highway. I marked this place on my map. It is pretty busy too. Must be good. This is Yoder's Country Market. It's an Amish market. Yoder's Country Market, Dutch country meats and cheeses, baked goods, baking supplies, spices, sugar-cured country hams. That sounds great. Roast beef, mild cheddar cheese, oysters. Maybe I can get some lunch here. I think a lot of people are having the same idea too. This place is packed. Even the parking lot over here. Look at that. Kind of reminds me of Cracker Barrel. I see some rocking chairs on the front porch. Got some Amish crafted rocking chairs. Look at this. Mountain View Furniture, Greenville, Tennessee. I don't know how much these are, but really nice. Also got some handcrafted birdhouses. All right, this place is slammed. Looks like in the back they have the country hams counter, and they are selling sandwiches, so a lot of people are in line for that. There's a lot of pastries and pies and canned goods, some homemade applesauce. This Yoder's banana nut bread. Maybe I should take some of this home. Oh man. Create your own sandwiches, but also I saw a sign that says this is BLT Wednesday, so maybe I'll get a BLT. There is currently a line to the back of the store at both registers. It's pretty hopping. It is lunchtime on a weekday. They've got all kinds of natural, organic, homemade baked goods. They got an aisle over here just full. Look at this. Just full of certain baked goods like flour and sugar. Everything is fresh. Red pepper, crushed red pepper. Also have toys in here. Look, Raggedy Ann and Andy. Dollhouse. Some old-fashioned toys. I was hoping to get a sandwich, but the line was just way too long. I did buy some snacks to go though. Got some original cheddar cheese curds. We needed some soap, so I grabbed some naturally back to basics foaming hand soap, original Mountain Breeze. Bought some local honey. This is from Rogersville. That's where my ancestors are from. We've got cheese curds. We've got local Yoder Brothers beets. I love pickled beets. We got some Amish butter topping for popcorn, and I got some homemade French dressing. That's my favorite. Picked up quite a bit of stuff. Also, I got some beef jerky and some other things to take home. But that'll be my lunch today. Some cheese curds and some beef jerky. I got to keep going. We've only just begun. And just off the side of the road, look at this. This old blue trailer. Look at that. Door wide open. Now, if it weren't winter, you'd barely be able to see this. All the leaves gone. It being blue, that kind of helps too. That's a relic. I'd say 1950s. And now on Bethesda Road near Russellville, Tennessee, up on the top of the hill is the cemetery and the church that we're heading to, which so happens to be the Civil War Hospital. There's quite a bit of history right here. Looks like we turn into these gates. All right, down the hill where we turned off the highway, right there, they're reconstructing a bridge. It looks like it washed out. We are inside of the Bethesda Cemetery. I'm gonna walk out there to show you the sign, but just to show you what's going on real quick, I just pulled into this cemetery. This is where they had a conflict during the Civil War, and right over there is the Civil War Hospital, and there's history right here we can read before we get a little closer. It says right here in front of the cemetery, Tennessee Civil War Trails. And here you go. Bethesda. I think of the Bethesda fountains in New York City. I think some people call it Bethesda. And this sign is about the Russellville area. Also in the area, the General Longstreet Museum. This one over here highlights the Civil War graves amongst the cemetery, which we will take a look at. All these green spots or yellow spots, those are Civil War soldiers that are buried out here, I believe north and south. And then right over here is the history we came and searched for. Bethesda Presbyterian Church, which is right out here. And this was the Civil War Hospital. Quite unique history. We're going to read a little bit on this sign, and then we're going to approach. Also, there is a cannonball hole still in the wall over there. I believe it's been patched up. This church was completed in 1835. Is a powerful reminder of the effect of the Civil War on the Tennessee home front. As the war clouds gathered, conflicting sympathies divided the congregation, and the church closed its doors. After the Battle of Bean Station on December 14th, 1863, Confederate General James Longstreet arrived here with 25,000 ill-clad soldiers, who remained until late in February 1864. Bethesda Church served as a hospital. Soldiers of both armies rest in the cemetery, including 80 unknown dead, most believed to be Confederate soldiers. So there's a tomb of the unknown soldier out here somewhere we have to find. In October 1864, Federal troops pursued Confederate forces near here at called Vaughn's Stampede. And in November, Confederates chased Union troops westward toward Knoxville, Gillem Stampede. During one of the engagements, a cannonball struck the eastern wall and caused structural damage. The walls were then reinforced with large iron rods that passed north and south through both entrances. The beautiful interior with plank-high back pews and ornate pulpit was forever stained by blood of war. When the war ended and the soldiers came home, many had wounds of bitter feelings. Some church members wanted to forgive and forget, but others did not. Our regular services began again from 1866 to 1871. Each side seated itself in the outer pews, leaving the middle pews empty. Finally, one group arose in a body and quietly walked out, never to return, and helped organize First Presbyterian Church of Morristown. The others stayed until 1875, when they moved to the newly built Russellville Presbyterian Church. Bethesda's closed doors and absent congregation tell the story of congregation that became a casualty of the Civil War. Okay, I think I see where the cannonball went in. I believe this is the east side. You see right up in here? And right there is where the cannonball went inside of the church, all patched up. Wow, that was a long time ago. We've also got a sign to read. Also, there's some gates down here. Looks like you can pull in over here. Bethesda Presbyterian Church, organized 1832 by Dr. John McCampbell. Building erected 1835. First pastor, Dr. Nathaniel Hood. 1832 to 1834. Last pastor, Reverend Benjamin Leah. 1871. Last letter granted 1878. It's got all the elders listed there, and it says it served as a Confederate hospital during the Civil War. Just enough light, you can see the church pews. Any ghosts walking around in there? Ooh, it is haunted, my friends. Of course it is. All right, that's creepy. I'm glad that we can see in here. Civil War hospital for almost 2 years. Imagine if these walls could talk. They said that the floor was stained blood red. And there are several Confederate flags next to headstones and American flags. This will show us the Union soldiers and the Confederate soldiers. Most likely died right there inside of the hospital, buried out back. Unknown dead. So we're going to find this. They say there's 80 soldiers buried out here. No one knows who they were. Anderson Orris Calvin, one of the soldiers buried out here. Crosby, George W. Crosby. Amos Warren Farnsworth. He's the Union side. Dr. Elijah Benton Hale. I'm related to some Hales. I have to look that up. Sergeant Nathan Andrew Jackson. It looks like Sergeant Nathan Andrew Jackson was sent to the Bethesda Church Hospital with smallpox while his company was encamped in the Russellville area. Nathan died of smallpox on February 12th or 18th, 1864, and is buried in an unmarked grave with the Confederate soldiers of Section C. He was reported to be 7 feet tall. Wow, you can see how tall he is. See how his arms? The 7-foot soldier, Sergeant Nathan Andrew Jackson of the 21st Mississippi, is buried out here. And there are 2 large flagpoles right here in the cemetery. One has the Confederate flag right here in between. Someone left a wreath. Unknown dead. This plot is sacred to the memory of 65 unknown dead, most of whom believed to be Confederate soldiers. And according to that sign back there, some Union. Mr. Jackson buried as well. A little moment of silence for them. Wind died down. There it goes. Just noticed that the American flag fell here out of the wreath. Fixed it. Look at this old wrought iron fence here. This family plot. Can't even read these headstones. It always gives me a sad feeling. Wow. It's beautiful though. Look at that. The church in the background. I don't think I can make anything out. Wow, that sucks. And here's the grave of Nathan Andrew Jackson, Sergeant for the 21st Mississippi Infantry, Confederate States Army. Born April 6, 1838, died February 18, 1864. The 7-foot tall Confederate soldier lays at rest right here. All right, check it out. Here's the hail plot. Just visited my 10th great grandfather's grave, the hail plot in Beverly, Massachusetts, right outside of Salem. Don't know if these hails are connected, but if they are, related for sure. I'm gonna walk inside here. It's a beautiful headstone with an anchor on there. E.B. Hale, medical doctor, and Eliza J. Hale. This couple died in, looks like E.B. died in 1893. Eliza died in 1919. E.B. Hale and also the other soldier by the name of Farnsworth are the only 2 Union soldiers buried in the cemetery to have proper burial, and that's only because they died years after the Civil War. Now, that sign back there said there's 80 unmarked graves. That one said 65. I guarantee you there were a lot of Union soldiers buried in here that just tossed into the grave, tossed the enemy into the grave. Found a soldier here by the name of John S. Ford of the 4th Tennessee Infantry, and I believe he was a Union soldier. There were quite a bit of Union troops in Tennessee as well. So not only Farnsworth and Hale, there was another Union soldier. Not much information on when he passed away though. There he is, right there. And there's an old bench out here. The thorn bush is taking it over. Look at that. Just barely saw it sticking out. At one point you could sit down and look over at the church. There's a stone bench here. There you go. Yeah, there was one over here too. There's another bench. Oh, look at this. Cora Shipley Pruitt, 1875 to 1956. Rest in peace. All right, this was quite fascinating. I look forward to coming back sometime to Russellville. On the other side of town is the General Longstreet Museum. I remember when I was at the Crockett Museum, which is in Morristown, not too far from here, they were telling me that that was a great historical learning experience. So I'm big into the Civil War history. I look forward to diving deeper in specifically the Tennessee Civil War history and just all Civil War history. Now that I live in the central portion of the eastern half of the United States, I am right in the middle of all of it. I was fascinated by it in school, and I studied it in college, and I'm looking forward to covering more Civil War stuff, to seeing it with my own eyes. We can live the history together. Heard a squirrel over there in the bushes. It kind of creeped me out. It's a very haunting, very peaceful place, but I do feel heaviness. My hairs are standing up. Got little goosebumps. Also, it's cold out here. Probably not helping. But this is one of the things I wanted to do the most was check out this hospital. Cannonball went right through there. It's crazy. Passing through Dover, Tennessee, and I'm seeing a lot of these signs. No quarry zone, or no quarry red zone. No more quarries. Sounds good to me. Slowing down to check out this house. Look at this. Wow. That thing, it is engulfed by the evergreen and the grass. That thing is really old. Could be 1800s as well. And now welcome to this little stream here. We are in Parrottville, Tennessee. Nice little cattle pasture across from Clear Creek. This is Parrottville Highway. Parrottville downtown back that way. I have come here because I parked on the other side of this 1700s fort. Look at this. A very odd looking shape, huh? 1787 this structure was built. It is called Swagerty Fort, and it sits along this creek. And there's a history sign over here. I walked past it on my way over here. Pretty quiet out here, isn't it? There's a farmhouse right there. I haven't seen a car go by. Really quiet. This thing has been sitting here for over 200 years. Let's enter the property properly. We've got cattle up on the hill there behind the fort. I'm going to walk through here. Walk to the sign. It's a nice little sidewalk down to the bottom entrance of the fort. Swagerty Fort. The fort, one of only 2 known remaining block houses in Tennessee, was built about 1787 by James Swagerty for protection from the Indians. Located on land of his uncle Abraham Swagerty, it consists of 3 levels. The cantilevered structure was built over a stream which provided a water supply. The stream is still here. Hey, a car finally went by. Get a little closer. Look at the ladder here. And it looks like they could have pulled this ladder up for sure. Yeah, it's on a hinge right there. Wow, you can really see the age. Some old wood like stacked down here. Looks like, wow, okay. Check it out. It's all flooded. It was definitely built on top of a stream. That's where the water went through. Wonder if they held anyone as prisoner down here. Another window there. It looks like that was the only way up, and it was retractable. The stream does go clear all the way through. And I guess that's why they call it a block structure right there, because the foundation is brick holding the rest up, and that's probably why it's lasted so long. It's crazy that it's going right over a stream. Thankfully nothing has flooded through here. Knock on old wood there. But most of Clear Creek is over here. I wonder if the stream has shifted since the time they built this. Pretty impressive history. Swagerty. Isn't there a Swagerty sausage company? Yeah, I think so. And they are out of Sevierville, Kodak area. I wonder if they are descendants of this Swagerty. Same area. Right? Swagerty? Swagerty sausage? Am I making that up? I think that's a thing. Doesn't, from this angle, doesn't it look like it's gonna fall over? Looks a little one-sided, huh? Looks like it could just fall over. Big wind could come. And it won't. It's strong. They don't build them like this anymore. If it's survived this long, it's got to survive another century, right? Got an old barn down the way of the stream there. It's a nice sound. Pleasant, therapeutic sound. There you go. Did you get it? Did you take it in? Did you turn it up? Sounds great. And beside the road here, look at this. An old chimney. The heart of an old cabin, perhaps. Wow. Wonder how many fires were lit right there. If it wasn't for my car running back there. It's 50 degrees, by the way. It warmed up quite a bit. If it wasn't for my car, it'd be dead quiet. I think it's so cool. There goes the car. All right, we're almost to the Nolichucky River. I think this had a second floor because there's an opening right there, maybe. This is Highway 340 that we're driving along. In case you're following along, heading back northeast currently, northeast, almost to the Nolichucky River. This old farm on the way out to the fort, and I circled back for it. Here's the barn over here, an old house. This property looks to be abandoned. It's a really old house, a lot like the first one we saw in the video. There you go. Can't tell if someone lives here or not. It looks like it's completely vacant. One of the windows is open, actually. I'd say it's the same era as the one we saw in the beginning. Maybe a little newer. It's beautiful. I love the red roof. Not much going on here. The Nolichucky River is right behind. Little up Dewey's Road. Another barn and a silo. Across on it. It is now 53 degrees. Warmed up quite a bit. Smoky Mountain Family Farms. I believe I saw some of their products back inside of the Yoder store. Warrensburg Road. That's where we are. And those are tomato fields. It's almost time to plant. Well, maybe a few months. Beautiful valley. And now I've come almost to Interstate 81. About to hop back on 81 and head back towards the Knoxville area. I want to thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time. We saw a lot today, and there is more to see. I saw a lot of stuff that I didn't have the opportunity or the time to put in the video. We will be back to update this series very soon in Tennessee. But before then, we will go to other states. If you want to check out more of this type of content, please subscribe below and also check out the Abandoned Places and Roadside Attractions playlist on the main page of my YouTube channel. This is some of my most favorite content to create. Saw a lot of cool stuff today, and I look forward to the much ahead. And I'll see you there. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please know that you're awesome, that you're loved, and no matter who you are or what you're going through, just know that there's always much ahead. I hope everyone has the happiest holidays and a Merry Christmas. And I'll see you very soon. Apparently there was an old gas station that used to sit here, nothing left but a sign infested with birds. That's it. Lots gone. I'll see you very soon, guys. Stay safe out there. Be good to each other. Heading home.